Good morning, Vietnam. Just go
all the way in.
How's everybody doing? Good morning.
Hello, hello.
This is the new Higher Energy Nobody Cares podcast. I'm John Andrews.
I'm Casey Peterson, and I'm High Energy.
Woo!
And I'm Mike Frazier, supporting these guys.
Mike Frazier had to wake the F up coffee this morning, so I know he's fired up.
I did, straight from New Orleans. My daughter brought it back.
Is that where New Orleans, where Zion Williamson's going to go play basketball, by the way? Well,
yeah.
So
I think he was a little upset. He's not going to be
Cleveland might step in there and buy his rights or something.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Okay. So with the Cavs, my one complaint is, Dan Gilbert's from Michigan. He loves bringing in Michigan people, and he's only one with Ohio guys like LeBron. So what does he do? He hires the Michigan coach. Just yeah.
So you got that.
Yep.
All right. Nobody cares about
things people
sports.
care about, apparently, and we're here to talk about things nobody cares about. It's a big news week.
Oh, wow. Like it just seems like it keeps on coming.
There's a lot going on.
What does nobody care about in your world, Casey?
So I think nobody cares about Facebook anymore. My daughter told me, actually. Facebook is for old people. And
my daughter says I would never use that. I would be embarrassed to use that.
Old people and nonprofits. That's basically what
old people and nonprofits.
That's basically what Facebook is.
Make water come up.
That's true. My son just had his last choir concert, and my mom posted all of their pics before I did on Facebook, and now she knows how to tag me. So
oh gosh,
that baby boomer.
My parents are on one of those old people cruises, that goes on the rivers like through Europe and stuff. Have you ever seen it? Even in their commercials, they put pretty old people, so you know that the real people on there are really old. Man, we're going to get in trouble from old people, and I'm old, so I didn't even say this. They're on an old people cruise in Hungary and Austria and places, and oh my God, they post gobs of crap on Facebook every day. And then my mom, for some reason, wants us all to talk to her on WhatsApp, so she can use the Wi-Fi. And I said, well, Mom, you can just use Facebook Messenger, same thing.
Right.
And then WhatsApp, what my sister got her on this, right? WhatsApp got hacked this past week. So I sent them hey, WhatsApp got just use your text on Wi-Fi. All right.
So I clearly hate Facebook, but I'm interested in what y'all think about it. So about a week and a half ago, Facebook had its F8 conference, developer conference, and announced that they're retiring the newsfeed. Newsfeed is gone for all intents and purposes, doubling down on groups and events and private messaging.
So private community stuff. I don't know.
Communities.
Community.
Apparently, 1 billion of Facebook's 1.3 trillion users are in use groups daily. I find that stat hard to believe.
1 billion people use groups daily.
But they're groups are big for them.
Okay.
And I find it really interesting that Facebook's new business model for 2019 is apparently the same business model that Ning had back in 2010.
Ning. Yeah, you
remember Ning?
Right? We used Ning. We used Ning in Clay class. It was awesome. We had a Ning community. Well, we set up a Facebook Photify community this week. Are you part of that?
Yeah, I'm a part of that, and
you're an admin, probably.
I made the group.
I made the group. I'm not kidding. I am your fault. I am your fault.
I think that Facebook pages already are penalized, right? So this can't be good for any business that wants to communicate online. So we need to make a group. I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve so we still get people that see our stuff and can interact on Facebook in some meaningful way. Plus, it's already happening, which I really hope for. People post to the group questions and other people answer them.
You know, I had kind of the epiphany talking about this idea of walled gardens, Facebook, and any kind of social platform that kind of its goal is to basically keep you there and make anybody pay to kind of access you that is a commercial entity. I think that's bad for brands. And if I was a brand and most of my digital efforts were focused around someone else's own properties, I would seriously be rethinking that shit. Right?
You've got to. If you haven't yet, you've got to.
But you hear it. Instagram is the place to be. I mean, same shit, And I don't know if you've been on Pinterest since they went public, but it is a house of sadness, man. It is a house of sadness of ads now, man. You go through like a Pinterest feed, and like evidently I'm in a certain age that people think I need
Romans. Is that your?
Well, but yeah, I get a lot of that stuff.
I get a lot of Roman ads,
but I get a lot of this this man boosting formula stuff like Nugenics and all this stuff, and I'm like, or I can go to the gym and eat.
Yeah, right.
Spinach and shit. I'm like, come on! But like every other ad, I'm getting like Nugenics, and it's just the user exchange. I'm like, Pinterest, really? They got to make that monies now. The public. What do you think, Mike? Facebook? You big fan?
Though, I think the only reason why I'm on there is to just talk to my parents.
Are you still poking people?
No, I never got into that.
Someone waved at me the other day. I thought it was super creepy.
I get a poke every once in a while, and I'm like,
yeah, I don't
I
know.
think we still did that. This is post #MeToo. We don't poke.
We don't poke.
We don't poke anymore. I think that what I've been saying for years, Facebook is moving more towards owning all the data. I think they've overplayed their hand, though. They've made Facebook so unappealing to brands to engage with.
Nah,
and
brands haven't got that memo.
No, they're gonna run ads, but I think that this is Facebook attempting to capitalize on what monetizable data they have left. I think the more they close, it's gonna be less and less Facebook centric as online, which I think is good. I agree that the more you try to have a walled garden, the internet was made open. Right? That was what it made it.
And then you cleave it,
very federated. No one owns it. No one
cleave it
controls
off into these things, and it's like, wait a minute. I built this brand community. I remember, we talked about this a lot. I was at Walmart when, we spent $55 million to, buy 30 million fans on Facebook, and it was just a terrible. You were building somebody else's platform at your own expense. I mean, it was the dumbest investment ever. And yet people are like, oh, Walmart has 30 million people on Facebook. Who cares? Go look at Walmart's pages. How many people engage with
100.
anything? 100,
Like
1,000, and most of them are like, you suck, Walmart. I mean, it's not whatever. Buy your friends. It's like a big digital sorority. Mike, you got some thoughts about privacy, I think. What's your focus this week?
I was you kind of go back in your career and you kind of see you can kind of remember when things were kind of shifting. I remember when like CSS came into the web world and you could skin sites really fast, and then clients wanted access to websites. They wanted a content managing side to a website, so they wanted control. I remember and then that ultimately led to the Web 2.0, you know, in the rise of social media. So, and then the smartphone, that in the apps. So I mean, that totally changed everything. So now I'm really feeling something else happening with privacy and with the blockchain coming over. You know, crypto, tokenized websites, all that stuff is here to stay. And I think now that there's ways to pull back away, you know, and then also the exploitation of our data from the social platforms. I think people are starting to say, you know, I want my friends, but I want to be more private with them, you know, more maybe one-on-one type scenarios. And I think maybe Snapchat kind of, you know, regained some power in that form, because I just noticed a lot of the younger millennials and, you know, my daughter and stuff that, you know, they're conversing, you know, tons on there. But I can't see it really. I mean, I can see, you know, if they make it public, but for the most part, I mean,
That's all my daughter uses.
Yeah, they're conversing more one-on-one. So
and private text groups. That's
Yeah.
exactly what he said. So you have a unique experience. Tell people what you're doing with people pay you for your content now, right?
Yeah. So with through the Brave browser, it is tokenized, backed by the BAT token. And if
Someone
you go to
music, John's going to deal with it.
what's that?
keep talking, Mike.
Oh, it's it's backed by the BAT token. So, you know, if you are using the Brave browser and you hit pinesforestfriends.com, you can send me a tip. You know, you can tip because I'm a verified publisher, and I'm like, we're like earning BAT every month now. And then you can take that BAT and move it, you know, into other currencies, or you can cash out, or you can just sit on it. BAT
dollars, the biggest crypto.
What's that?
You can move it into dollars, the biggest crypto.
Yeah, or I'll just move it straight to Bitcoin.
I love people are like, oh no, you gotta have dollars. I'm like, you know, there are only about 13% of the dollar supply is actually, the rest of it's crypto. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's digital. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, but the government says it exists.
Well,
that's
I say Bitcoin exists. So that makes it real to me.
right.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you shared. We're going to put the link in the notes. You shared a link with us about a completely private blockchain-backed Alexa alternative, and I love the subheader, which is with smart speakers like Alexa violating users' privacy expectations, a French startup seeks to turn the problem on its head. So I'm just curious from y'all. What are I have a privacy expectation that apparently is very different than most people if this startup is even coming into reality. What are your privacy expectations online?
With online, I would only share what I felt comfortable sharing. But I tell you what, man, if Amazon's listening to our conversations when I'm not engaging with it, that I'm gonna throw that shit out the window. I'll be done with it.
I don't think Amazon's physically listening though, and this is going to be part of the thing we have to go through.
Right.
I think Alexa is physically listening at all times because it's prompt based, right? Mm-hmm. So it has to listen, and I think its machinery is listening to get better at listening to people. But you know, think about it. If Casey was at your house, right? And you're talking, right, or you're, whatever, Casey's always listening to you, right, and processing, probably judging you because Casey judges. But it's a new way. Your phone is listening to you. Siri and whatever is on Android is listening to you, but for the same reason. Right, and so I like that from the point of view of when I'm in my car, I can just say, "Hey Siri, call Mike Frazier," and all of a sudden Mike Frazier's on the phone, and I don't have to be, I love people that drive like this, and put your phone down, like talk, get some AirPods, something.
To me, and I don't. so I don't have an expectation of privacy with those things in general. I have an expectation that if I ask Alexa to order something from Amazon, or I ask Google to give me directions to the closest pizza place, that those things aren't shared publicly on a big list for my friends to peruse. I mean, I have that expectation, but I don't.
But you publish
But so this-
sometimes when you're doing stuff.
Yeah, but I think
That's
this
your
is
choice.
part of my understanding, my perception of the consumer contract between myself and Google, or myself and Amazon, that I understand that I'm giving them access into a private space.
Yeah.
But in return for a benefit of Google understanding where I'm at, and all of the types of data that unlocks, and all the benefits that unlocks.
Helping you.
Yeah, I understand that Amazon is getting access to a lot of private space and knowledge and insights about me and my family, but the benefit I get out of that is that it knows that it's time to order toilet paper. I mean, that's
Which we had to do physically today, which is crazy.
so. I mean,
Although it'll be here in 2 hours thanks to Amazon Prime. So it's not like I have to
Right.
and I'm curious if this is like an American viewpoint, or if it's a viewpoint of our generation. Maybe younger people don't have the same viewpoint. Clearly, Europe has a different idea of privacy because they came up with GDPR a long time before us. Like, everybody in America was like, "Oh, who cares?" Right? But
I would agree with you. I think most people don't care, right? Because you are clearly doing things that or you should know are not private, right? And even if it's buried in terms of service or whatever, but if you're carrying around a modern smartphone, your life is not private. Period. It's just not. If you don't want your life to be private, don't carry that thing. By the way, choice.
But go off the grid. It's fine.
My phone makes my life better in a lot of ways.
I wonder. So there's a lot of movement around the ability to delete your history in Google, and Google really, they announced last week, maybe, or sometime in the last week at their conference, that they've condensed their entire machine learning algorithm down to 500 megabytes.
I saw that.
And so it's going to live on your phone. You don't have to send your voice to the cloud. That's actually a major privacy improvement, I think.
Wow.
We're not just doing all the stuff inside your
On the device itself, and so they're giving people the ability to delete their history, and I wonder how long it's going to be before the people who are choosing those things lose some functionality, right? Like, maybe not functionality, but lose some benefit of, maybe Google doesn't understand my commute time as well as it used to, which I use Waze every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or commute information.
And it is already amazing to me how much they use that information to help me.
Right.
And so when I book an F-45 class, I get an alert. It automatically adds it to my calendar. I get a Waze alert the night before. It says, "Hey, you're going to have to leave at 4:44 to get to class." And 10 minutes before I'm supposed to leave, now I get a little Waze, alert, time to go.
Yep.
And so I'm on time for stuff. That's kind of cool. That wasn't always my history.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. Until hopefully hopefully these devices in our homes don't exploit us like like the Facebook news feed did, with some wild stories that probably shouldn't have been sponsored.
But is that Facebook's fault? I mean, and I'm not. By the way, I'm not defending Facebook at all, right? But I do believe that there's some responsibility on the consumer of information to understand, where is this from? Who is creating it?
Is it fake news or not?
Should I read a couple things in this or should I just get my shotgun and go up and break up the Clinton sex ring?
Right.
Oh, that's for real though. So saw a Facebook post.
John, what they got a sex ring? Yeah. Dude, you know what people got? Sorry, no, we're not going there.
So I went with my son to get his hair cut, and he actually went to where my wife gets her hair done. And on the table they had old Life magazines from the 50s.
Oh,
So it was so interesting. We're going through them, and all the ads. You can kind of see when the Industrial Revolution or the processed foods were starting to hit. The soup cans, the spaghetti in the can. Yeah, and all the cigarette ads, and they're just like, you can kind of see where they're pushing like what is the normal, like smoking is fine,
Makes your life better.
Yeah,
Doesn't everyone so that happened, but that's been a part of culture.
Yeah.
80 years. Don't we all distrust ads? I mean, there's plenty of data to support the fact that we all distrust ads. And
well, I read that all the time, right? And I love the way that it moves, because there was an article. I don't know if you remember when we started in social media and influencer. It was so much more believable than ads. But then, company ads, but then it just became ads. So now I read an article this week like nobody trusts influencers anymore.
right.
Nobody trusts influencers. 3%.
We have an expectation that if they're talking about a product, it's probably sponsored, even if it's not. Like I expect that this product, in whatever content I'm watching, is sponsored unless they specifically say nobody paid me for this. I just really like this product. But I generally believe them what they say.
Part of that responsibility on you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yeah, this guy, woman, introduced me to this product. Okay, that's cool. I see it. Check it out. But I'm the person that makes the decision to buy that thing,
Right.
or not, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And it's the Bitcoin discussion. Like, Bitcoin's evil. Bitcoin's great. You don't have to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin does not affect you at all. You don't like it? Don't buy it. Very simple.
Right. Exactly. Well, and again, and that's what, like, obviously we're all aware now what Facebook, how they got it, they just let these ads run wild. So now I kind of view Facebook as kind of like Star Magazine, right? Yeah, I don't believe it. Hence, I don't spend that much time on it anymore, unless my mom's posting pictures.
I don't find it that useful. I mean,
You know what I find useful though, and this is why,
Birthdays.
I wonder how these things are going to affect Google as a product long term. So, I've started getting, and I've only recently started getting them by Google Maps, but I'm getting recommendations of restaurants that Google believes I will like based off of all the other restaurants I've been to, because it tracks them. It knows I went there. A lot of times it asks me to rate them. Had 1,600 views on the Google Maps reviews, by the way.
Dude, Google Maps is amazing. Mike has posts that have 50,000 views.
Wow.
Right? I remember when we worked with the winery up in Virginia. Some of my posts there have 50,000 plus views. It's people who Google is putting that because they find it helpful. There was a news article came out today, thinking about this idea, and I wrote an article this week about. I believe the future of retail is media, payments, and channel in one thing. So it's kind of what you're doing, right? So the idea of so American Express bought a reservations platform this week called Resy, right? It's like a higher end open or something, right? So every week from American Express, I get offers. This is media. I get offers for restaurants that it thinks I like, and I get $50 off if I spend $200 or something, right? And so you think about that process of I pay with American Express, so they now know they know my transactions. It's like Apple Pay. They know more about me empirically, first person, not this third party. AI. Right. I know what Casey's going to do next.
Right?
No, you don't. But I know, I know, they know where I've eaten. how much I've spent, probably, can make some other, and, that combination with now being, hey, John and Shannon are probably going on a date night this Saturday because they hadn't, they haven't gone out for a meal, and I can suggest things to them because, my pain point with doing that is we go to 3 places and I'm like, can we go some, we have some choices in Raleigh, it's not a small place, we go same, eat the same stuff. So I think this idea, and then your content from a great place that you went to eat and had something, is super helpful to me because I know you like good food and whatever. And so it's going to be interesting to watch it come together, but I believe the payment processors are going to be Apple Pay. Apple, I think, is going to be in this unique position. 77 of the top 100 merchants now accept Apple Pay, including Target, right?
Yes.
So Apple's learning something about people shopping at Target, but for Target's problem, Apple's a retailer, right?
Yeah, and you bring up an interesting point about privacy that no one talks about. For some reason, we're fixated on like the digital aspect of it, like obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But MasterCard knows more about you than Facebook ever will.
Completely.
And they sell that all day, every day to people to market to you all the time. And nobody's complaining about
their TOS.
And they get your name, your physical address, because they're mailing you stuff. They give way more information out than Facebook, Google, any of these people.
They probably get the types of stuff you buy.
Right. If I want to run Facebook ads, I don't get names and addresses of people. Facebook runs them and puts them intelligently in front of the right people. Our payments are a way bigger invasion of privacy, but none of us ever go. We're not upset about that. It's this is just like the boogeyman of
the boogeyman.
Basically, let's all get worked up about Google because of privacy. And we're putting them through like stuff that's actually not just crippling Google. They're going to be fine. They're going to make their money. They're going to figure out how to make money. That's what they do. But they're crippling the products that we receive. Privacy is a soapbox for me. What am I hiding from? Right? And I'm not if I don't do anything wrong, I've got nothing to hide. I'm saying I trust that Google isn't going to expose personally identifiable information about my service.
That's the problem. It's like robocalls, right? Everybody's the scourge of robocalls, right? I don't mind if people call me, right? But this idea that you're just gonna spam call me, to sell me insurance or freaking ED drugs or whatever, stop. And you're telling me that AT&T, like my provider that I pay gobs of money to, can't stop that in their system, or they're disincentive to because they make money off of sharing my information. That's just BS.
Yeah. True.
What do you think, Mike? Very quiet over there today.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was just absorbing it all.
We're dropping
no,
out.
I think what Casey said, he struck a, trust. He trusts, he trusts Google. The only one that really kind of fell out of my trust was Facebook. I don't really care for that guy anymore.
Well, they've demonstrated that they're bad actors with our data, right? I mean over and over and over.
Well, and that they intentionally, what bugged me about Facebook was like they intentionally did it and didn't care.
Right.
It did not care one bit. They didn't know what was going on with Cambridge Analytica. Come on.
Well,
man.
okay. I know we're running up on time here, but
you don't have to stay. The audience,
Facebook
letting you out.
So Mark Zuckerberg last week says invites more government regulation. What a brain dead way of dealing with problems. Like he's basically outsourcing the fact that he is so amoral. Maybe I don't know what his issue is, that he can't intuitively understand what is good and bad for users of his app. It's like, we don't really know. Just come in and regulate everything you want to regulate about us. What company does that?
Well, there's two sides to that, and you and I have had a lot of discussions about this. It's like, do you want Facebook regulating free speech? And I think that's an interesting question. I think we could talk about that. My thing is, it's their platform. I don't care. If they want to regulate free speech, if they want to have, they don't want to have white supremacists, but they want to have people who have viewpoints that are equally as offensive to some people on the other side, that's their choice. I have a choice to not go there. I tend to think that, free speech is free speech. I kind of like the HuffPo strategy back in the day. It was the mullet strategy. Business in the front and party in the rear. If you're crazy and want to be like, go do that. I'm going to take you out of everybody's feed. But if somebody wants to follow you, if you're a white supremacist and you want to follow white supremacists, then you're going to go somewhere else. Right? You're
going to go somewhere else.
You are not going to stop white supremacy by telling people to talk about it.
That's the problem. Right? We talk about Facebook and Google and Amazon as if they're monopolies. But
what about Reddit?
They're not monopolies.
What about Reddit? What about Twitter? What about 4chan? You're not going to change people's behavior because of the way the platform works. Period.
So that brings up another interesting question: is App Store was sued? Since I'm an iPhone user, I can't go to outside apps and download them, without going through the store. So that judge, they came down on the decision that it was, that
they're liable for antitrust.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, man.
Don't use iPhone.
Right. I have a choice to drop my iPhone and go get an Android if I want that. So I thought that was just a terrible decision by the courts to rule like that.
Yeah, well, we've got presidential candidates now calling for Facebook, Google to be broken up under monopoly antitrust laws. So I just Googled, thanks Google, the definition of monopoly. It's the excessive possession or control of the supply of or trade in a commodity or service. So Google cannot be a monopoly.
Google's not a monopoly.
Bing is 30-something% of search right now. So it's not a monopoly. I'm not locked into anything that Google offers. I can leave Google and go pick up something else.
Right. I could go to Brave Browser.
By the way, it doesn't work as good, but don't let that get in the way.
I can leave Facebook like that, shut it down, and go talk to people through some other non-Facebook owned channel.
Really?
So it's not a monopoly.
Won't you be ostracized and not have any friends?
Nobody's on. Nobody. No, we already said all the people on Facebook are old people in nonprofits.
I think the market is figuring it out though. There are options. We can go private. We can go to Brave. We can go to DuckDuckGo. If we don't want our, if Big Bad Google is reading all our Gmails, then we can go to that new email service, Photon or whatever. It's completely through the blockchain. So I think the market itself fixes it. You don't need all this monopoly talk and regulation and court decisions. And just let it ride out.
You mean free markets work?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Right.
Well, what about China?
Oh,
China banned Bitcoin.
But then they own 20%.
Bitcoin.
How'd that work out?
They're scared. They're scary.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, it is. I think it comes down fundamentally. It's a conversation about control, right? Some people do not like the fact that they cannot control markets, places, things. What people say. There's a case going on here where some business owner sued somebody for defamation because they left a bad review. Right?
Yeah, I've heard of these things happen.
Bullshit. Right? If I think, that's my opinion, right? Your pizza sucks.
Deal with it.
Deal.
Make better pizza.
Not that hard. God. But everybody doesn't love you. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not 7th grade popularity contest. Shit. Man, we went on some tangents there.
We
Yeah.
got soapboxes for days.
I know.
What is Casey tells me this is show 17. Wow.
Oh, okay. We're getting up there.
I'm getting up there. And today is a special day.
Next,
Anybody know what
next
today
time we
is?
vote.
It's Casey's birthday.
Chocolate chip day.
Casey's birthday and chocolate chip day. Guess what Casey's having for lunch?
Chocolate
Big bag of chocolate chip.
Well, I wish Casey a happy birthday on Facebook, so that's official.
That makes it real.
Oh, there you go. Did you use an automated message or did you actually type something?
I actually typed it with 2 exclamations.
Like a real person.
Yeah.
I love on LinkedIn when you have a thing and you get 100 of the same automated messages, and like the one person who takes the time to actually press George Jetson, press a couple of buttons and stuff, like sticks out. It's like we're gonna pretty soon we're not gonna have to interact at all. You just say, "Hey, LinkedIn, tell everybody happy birthday."
Have you tried Google Duplex yet? Has anybody tried Google
Is
Duplex?
that's the voice assistant?
Yeah, that like calls and makes reservations for you.
No, but I saw the video that it was sick, right? Because think of all the times that I just want a restaurant reservation.
That's it. And I want Google to look at my calendar, know what's going on, and just handle it.
Talk to someone, handle it. Yeah, I love that like for almost every service thing in my life.
I haven't made a restaurant reservation since it came out on my phone. So I need to do that sometime just to try it out.
We probably don't have that because I've got a real phone, and
I believe it's on iPhone now.
Oh, is it?
I think.
Google Duplex is on
Yeah,
iPhone.
I think it is.
I got
Google
it.
Assistant app.
All right, we'll try that.
We'll try it.
I'm writing it down.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe we'll report back next time. Mike, thank you very much for episode 17.
Sorry about the Zion stakes. You guys are still going to get a player though.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
A bunch of dookies, and you probably get a Carolina player. Get Kobe White.
I guess they're talking about that Texas Tech guy. I don't know. I don't even know.
Now, he's like, dude, it's
Whatever.
football season. I don't care.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks again for joining us and talking about things that nobody cares about. And
Like us down here. Kiss us on the head over here.
you can ring the little bell and
Ring
get a
the bell,
notification
get a
every time we
notification.
go live. That's-
Yeah. We'll put the articles in, read our stuff.
Yep.
Tell us you hate it. Whatever.
Or not. Whatever.
Or not. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.